Hey guys, so when you're doing airbrush makeup, make sure to treat your skin like you normally would if you were doing regular makeup. So that means wash your face and then moisturize like you normally would. I've already washed my face with Boscia's Purifying Cleansing Gel, and now I'm gonna moisturize my face with DDF's Ultra Light Moisturizing Dew. See that? And I've got like nothing on my skin at all except for a mascara because I don't want to look like I'm dead. Let moisturizer soak in for a few minutes before you put on makeup or before you put on a primer, because you want each individual layer to do what it's supposed to do. If you keep adding layers on top of what you're doing first, then you're not letting that first thing actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and let that soak in for a few minutes. Okay, so then also Luminess does come with an airbrush moisturizer, which looks like this. So you can put this into your airbrush like you would put in color and spray this on your face. However, that's not the method that I'm going to be doing. When I tried this product out of my mom, I used every single one of the stuff in here, which worked great, but for my purposes, I'm just scared that I'm going to break out because I've been breaking out a little bit more recently and I didn't want to agitate it in any way. Then if you want another step that you can do is go on and put on this Boost It Instant Complexion Booster. And this means it's basically going to give your skin a little bit of a glow, a little bit of a tint, not really a tint of color, but a tint of radiance. So you can put this on after that. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is put on my primer. Again, you can use the same products that you normally would when you're applying your regular conventional makeup. So I'm using my MAC SPF 50 Skin Massage. If you guys have oily skin, I highly recommend this primer. I think it works really, really well for people with oily skin. A lot of people think that airbrush makeup isn't going to work in conjunction with your normal skin routine, but that's really not the truth at all. And you'll see, because I'm going to be using normal products along the way also. Airbrush will definitely stay on longer. It doesn't transfer off on clothes and stuff as easily also, so when they're doing their multiple wardrobe changes, they don't have to worry as much, which is nice. So this is the medium kit, and I have a bunch of colors in here. And I'm going to basically choose, I'm going to mix them because there isn't one color in here that I specifically think would be exactly my skin color. Also, you guys know that I have pigmentation and I don't want my skin to look gray, so therefore I am going to choose a couple of different shades in here and mix it together to see what results. So let's see. This is shade 3. Which is way too light for my skin, so I won't be using this. This is shade 4. Definitely got a little bit more pink to it. And then there's shade 5 and shade 6. So shade 6 seems to be the closest to my real skin color, and I think it would be a really great match. Shade 5 is a little bit dark and a little bit too pink, but I think that could give me a nice pink undertone, because you guys know that I do really have a pink undertone, but I don't like to wear overly pink undertones. So I'm mixing these two together. It would give me a nice neutral undertone. So that's what I'm going to go with. So what you're going to do is that you're going to take your actual airbrush, which looks like this. Here is the nozzle. Here is the cap that you're going to dispense makeup into. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use this airbrush cleaning bottle. I just filled it with water, and it says to do that. And I'm going to dispense some of this into this cap right here. Because as I mentioned, I have used this airbrush before, so there might be makeup in here that I'm not aware of, and I want to get that cleaned. Then on your airbrush, you'll see on your airbrush compressor, you'll see a button that says on off. You're going to press that, and I'm going to dispense this water out onto a rag just to get it cleaned from the inside. So by pressing on off does not mean that anything's going to actually come out of here. Nothing's going to come out of here unless you pull this nozzle back and you let stuff actually come out of here. The on-off button is only going to give you air pressure from underneath. So this is what I'm doing. I'm letting it spray out just because I want everything that might be stuck in here to be gone. So I can push it back a little bit and get very little pressure, or I can push it back all the way and get a lot more. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of the colors that I told you that I was going to use. I'm going to use shade 5 and shade 6. Now you guys know that I have hyperpigmentation, however I'm not going to be using my Makeup Forever Camouflage Cream. You guys can if you want to, but I'm just not gonna worry about extra steps right now because I want this video to be beneficial to anybody who just wants to learn about airbrushing. So you're gonna shake well, and you'll hear those little metal beads in here that help to mix everything together. Make sure you shake before you dispense. Now, with airbrush makeup, you're not gonna use as much as you would a conventional foundation, which is awesome. So this is shade 6, the one that I primarily want. I'm gonna dispense 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops in here. And then I'm going to take shade 4, not shade 4, sorry, where did that go? Shade 5, and I'm going to add in some here. What's nice about airbrush foundation is that since it doesn't have SPF, it doesn't have titanium dioxide, so that means that whatever particles you're putting in here to mix together is going to let your real skin breathe through also. So it's a lot more forgiving. Even if you have colors in here that might not be an exact match for a client or for yourself, you will be able to put it on and wear it like real skin, not worrying about how it's going to look on camera and not worrying about if, you know, it is not matched 100%. So that's why it's amazing for clients, because you don't want to carry on a million colors. You can just mix them here and you'll know that it's going to work. So now that I've got 2 colors in here, you have to mix it together. So for that, you have to let these colors in here back bubble. And that means you're going to turn on the compressor. You're going to take a paper towel or a rag like this. You're going to touch the nozzle on here and pull this lever back. That's the word for it, lever. You're going to pull the lever back and you'll see how all the color in here is going to bubble up and come up. Of course, don't let it bubble over so it comes out of here, but that's just going to mix the colors together, which is what we need. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to go ahead and spray it on my face. I like to keep about 6 inches away, which is a smart thing to do. Also, no matter how much coverage you need, you always want to start small. Don't just pull the lever back all the way and make it extremely thick coverage. Even if you need a lot of coverage, put on a few different layers on your skin to get even coverage. Don't just spray it on very thick to begin with. And if you find any area that's especially problem on your skin, then you can kind of hold your nozzle in that area and just keep spraying without moving it too much. Also, make sure you tie up your hair, whether it's you or a client, just because airbrush can definitely spray onto your hair and stuff and you don't want that. Okay. Okay, so that's one layer. Now what I'm going to do is add just the darker shade, which was shade 5, and put that in some of the areas of my skin that I am darker, which is like my chin area, my forehead, just so that everything is not one even color. Now what I like to do with this airbrush makeup that I usually don't do with regular foundation is that, you know, with regular foundation, areas that are darker of my skin, I won't cover it with the same foundation as I would the lighter areas. For airbrush, I like to do that. I like to put on one layer of just one color, which is definitely usually the lightest color of that person's skin, which was the 2 shades that I mixed right now. Now I'm going to work on the darker shades or darker areas of my skin. So for that, I'm going to use the darker color and just that one color, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on those areas of my skin. Okay, so I'm not going to use much because you obviously don't want to look like you're wearing 2 different colored foundations. You want your skin to look like it normally would, with a little bit of shade discrepancy, just like everybody's skin has. So now, since I'm only using one color, I don't have to back bubble it because it doesn't have to mix it with anything else. What you can do is that if you're using one airbrush on multiple different skin colored clients, then you might want to clean this airbrush out between every use with the water. So it's nice to have this handy with you, but you don't have to do that because right now, obviously, this shade is not a lot lighter or a lot darker than the shade that I used previously, so for me, I don't need to clean it out. So I'm using it around the perimeter of my face, not in the center at all, because that, of course, you want that to look light. Okay, now I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to go ahead and stop and clean out whatever's left in here with my water. So I'm going to pour in the water, and that's totally okay to clean, you know, to add water into whatever's existing in here. But now I want to get everything out, especially because the makeup has gone all the way to the top, so I am going to back bubble the water and the color that was in here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and dispense it on here. Okay, now that didn't do the job because if you look, there's still makeup stuck inside that cap. So I'm going to keep pouring water in here, and make sure you guys do that, because if you don't, your airbrush gun will end up getting spoiled, and it's going to cost you a lot of money to replace it and to get that clean, so make sure you guys take care of it. Now, if you guys notice, I didn't put on airbrush foundation under my eyes just because that's too close and I don't want it to go inside. However, it does stay and it won't crease, so if you guys want that, then you definitely can do that. The only reason, the other reason I don't use it for myself is because I have a few crow's feet in the end, and I have like a little bit of like lines down here that the airbrush can get stuck in, and that's going to accentuate the problems that somebody might have. So if somebody has got that kind of thing, I wouldn't use this under the eyes, but you can use your conventional concealer and you'll be completely fine. Like what you're going to see now is that I've gone ahead and put on my foundation, but now I'm going to use their bronzer, and I'm going to actually apply that on certain areas of my skin to give me a little bit of a glow. This is a bronzer they've given me. So pretty. And they have like a lighter one too for people who are, you know, lighter skinned, and that would be this one right here. So they've got like a gold and silver version. So I'm gonna go ahead, mix this up, and only dispense like 1 or 2 drops literally of this onto your gun. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and concentrate this on my cheekbones and to the center of my forehead. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put on my airbrush foundation. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to use conventional makeup on top of this. Okay, so I'm going to be using my MAC NW35 Studio Finish Concealer for under my eyes. And I'm going to use a 224 blending brush. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my under eyes like I normally would. Okay. So there you go, I've got my normal conventional under eye concealer. Then I'm going to go ahead and powder my face, and for that I'm going to be using Graftobian's powders. I'm going to be using, for my full face, I'm using this color right here. I don't know if you guys can see that one right there. And that one I think is Healthy Tan. And for my under eye area, I'm going to use a mixture of these two colors, these middle ones right here. And those would be Soft Ivory and Buttercream. So first for my under eye area, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Soft Ivory and Buttercream and place that. Just because it's going to give you an even lighter under eye area, which everybody likes because it makes you look so much more bright and awake. And then I'm going to use a full powder brush like this, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Healthy Tan color and powder my face. Now, sometimes what I like to do is that when I'm working on a client and, you know, like most airbrush makeup is not really going to get that oily, even if you have oily skin. So then I won't powder just because it looks more natural. Your skin has that normal moisture, you know, soaking through. So then I won't go through and powder it. So if you have normal skin, then feel free not to powder it. You don't have to. I'm just doing that because I know what my skin is like, and I just wanted to show you that you can use normal makeup with this. Now, another word of advice is that I usually, for airbrush, I like to do the person's face first, because sometimes, you know, it can kind of fly onto your eye makeup, and especially if you're doing very detailed eye makeup that doesn't have as much blending, then if it ruins it, you know, by having a few specks of color of your foundation on there, it, you know, is not going to look as good. So be careful, make sure your client's hair is tied back, But also, I wanted to let you guys know I was using Luminess's Ultra Foundation. They've got a few different types. I know they've got a matte foundation, they've got the Ultra, and they've got something else. But I absolutely love them. I think their color choices are amazing. They've got something for every skin color. And like I said, Airbrush is so forgiving in terms of creating colors that it won't be difficult to mix and match. So whether you have loved to blend before or absolutely hated mixing foundations, then Airbrush is definitely the thing to go for because it's very, very easy to find your shade and mix and match. There's really like, you can't make as many errors at all. And then over this, you can go ahead and put on your normal blush, your normal contour colors, whatever it is that you want to accentuate it. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is and how fast it is. Of course, this video is kind of long because I'm explaining things to you along the way, but normally that would not be the case at all. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye!